It's really been a whole year. I've made a lot of mistakes. I found joy in the small moments and the everyday successes of repairing a hole in my clothes, baking a loaf of edible bread, and planting my first seeds. But I've also felt jealousy, greed, and fear, which turned me into more of a materialistic person, the kind of person I had left behind when I first began to learn about sustainability. I've been thinking a lot about the root of why I needed this reset, why I started this series of resetting my zero waste lifestyle, why my mindset has changed a little and how to get back on track, what's been influencing my values, and assess whether I've really been living in alignment with them, and if not, then why. It's been a whole year of thinking, growing, and despairing, of loss, grief, and small joys. I think I've grown quite a lot emotionally, and being still for so long allowed me to see what's important and what's right in front of me. It's interesting, the more you think, the more you worry, the more you get excited, and the more you feel things. I've been worrying about a lot of things lately. This probably is really morbid, but I have this recurring nightmare that my boyfriend and I finally get to be together and then something tragic happens. This could just be a deep, deep anxiety, but I've known too many people get ill or pass away over the last year, and it just makes me a little afraid. My boyfriend and I often play these games where we say, if we were together right now, what would we be doing? I think for a lot of people this past year has been just a whirlwind. Every single lockdown seems to have brought different emotions, different feelings, different understanding of who we are, different existential crises, especially with the weather. And I think the only reason why I'm in such a good place right now is simply because it's spring. January was probably one of the bleakest months for me, as I'm sure it was for a lot of other people. Someone I knew from school passed away, and it was really hard to deal with. Even though I hadn't seen that person in a long time, one of the things that you think about is, I wonder if this would have happened if we weren't in lockdown. I wonder if they were able to get the help that they needed, if they weren't so closed off and isolated because of what's happening around the world. And it makes me think about everyone else affected in this world from different reasons, from why we've lost so many loved ones, not just because of the pandemic, but because of what the pandemic has caused and created, the kind of atmosphere and isolation that people have felt. And this is one of the reasons why I think I turned to creating a garden, now that of course that it's spring as well, but taking in and trying to find something positive, some kind of growth, some kind of new life, and absorbing myself and learning something new. I think it gave my brain this reset that it needed to concentrate on something else, on something that just wasn't sad news constantly and worrying about people in your life. And also I've had a lot of friends have babies over the last year, and that's also a worry, because they're going into hospitals, they're going through something exciting but incredibly traumatic, and these just extra worries that you think about. I think I must have grown quite a lot emotionally over the last year, because I don't know how I would have dealt with so much worrying and anxiety and grief in any other sort of way. I think we all have this collective thought together that everyone is in this kind of place, and that's why I've really enjoyed watching different kind of YouTubers online. Some people who are in Australia, for example, so I get to see someone having a normal time. Some people who are also in the UK and they can commiserate with how it feels simply to be in lockdown for so long. It's interesting also looking at other countries and talking to my boyfriend, for example, who lives in the US, and comparing the way that our countries and our governments have dealt with the pandemic, with the vaccines, with social care and all of these different things, and then trying to figure out where the climate movement, takes place. That's been on such a back burner, and maybe rightfully so, maybe not rightfully so. It's really hard to kind of figure out where you are and what makes sense anymore. But I think for sure over the last month, this is one of the biggest reasons as to why I try to start this reset, start this zero waste lifestyle again, because I think particularly if you are showing your life on social media and you work with more brands and things like that, your mindset can change. You can feel more materialistic because you're being offered things, and sometimes you really need to take a hard look at yourself and think, why are you accepting these things? Why are you working with so many people? Why are you doing some of these things that aren't perhaps, how you really feel? And that's one of the biggest things for me. I think I realized that I wasn't getting to the heart of why I was trying to live a sustainable lifestyle, why I was trying to, do all these things to create less waste, to get people more politically engaged, I think that's why my content has changed a lot recently. One, I was worried that you guys would get really bored of me just being in my house and having nothing else to show you. I wanted to try and create something to evolve my content so that it was more interesting. I've also had quite a hard time sitting and sort of talking to the camera. I think that's one of the reasons why I do a lot of voiceovers and kind of just film my life as well, because it feels not a lot of pressure to sit in front of the camera, but I guess I've grown. The less you do something, the more anxiety you build up about it and trying it. And I'm trying to get over that. But yeah, I've had all these different worries, whether people actually like my content, whether it's boring, whether there's too much gardening content and so forth. But it's just interesting the phases that we go through and how we cope. I've really thrown myself into trying to learn things over the last, particularly third lockdown. And this is mostly because, one, I think it's important to learn new things, but I needed to engage my brain in a new way to show it that it was still needed and that I was going to need it when we came out of lockdown. And that, my brain is one of those, it needs to be constantly thinking about something or stimulated in some way. Not constantly, sorry. That would not be a good idea. Resting is also something I've certainly learnt about this year and tried to ensure I was doing a good amount of, as well as at the same time learning and progressing in some way. And there are so many things that I have learned over the last year. I've been so set on learning how to cook, and that's been such a wonderful process, and I've loved making videos for you guys and showing you how I've been doing that and getting your feedback and trying to create a much more collaborative atmosphere where we're all learning together and you're sharing your tips with me, because let's be honest, a lot of you are way better at cooking and things like that at me. And that's another reason why I love this kind of gardening and why I've started this vegetable garden and trying these new things, because so many of you guys also have really, really great tips. And it feels much more like a community. I think someone said the other day that my videos seem much more likable over the last year, and it made me question why I wasn't sharing as much before as I am now. And I'm so glad that you guys feel like that, or at least someone feels like that, because it means a lot to me to create a wonderful community where we're all sharing in the same knowledge, where we're all trying to grow together, and we're all trying to create a better place for everyone. So yeah, I really do think that this has been a huge year of personal growth for me. I've learned so much more about intersectionality, about who I am as a person, what my place is in sort of sustainability and climate change, and who I should be uplifting, and where that's again another reason why I've been sharing more content of how I try and implement sustainability into my life, because at the end of the day, I think a lot of our journeys are very personal, and who am I to tell you how to live your life? I think it's just one of those things where I just want to share what I'm doing, and if it inspires you, it does, and if it doesn't, that's okay too. I think it's important we all have our own personal ways of doing things, but I've just really enjoyed connecting more with you guys, connecting more with myself and things that I like to do, and learning new skills. And it's just been an incredible time. I think going forward, I have more worries about when I move back to London. Will people like my content there? And lots of different things, but I'm excited. I'm excited for this new chapter. I'm excited for the community that we've built here. And I just wanted to say thank you for all the feedback you always give me and all the tips you give me. It's just, I don't know. I really have grown close to you guys over this last year, and it's been really important for me and exciting. And I hope when, big things happen this year, when I'm moving, hopefully to live with my boyfriend, this channel will evolve and change, but I'm hoping it will all be in the same direction that we all want to go. So thank you very much for being here and being part of this community and giving me all the tips, because you guys know so much more than me. So just know that you're appreciated, because you really, really are. I just want to say a massive thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video and always supporting my channel and my content. Squarespace gives people a powerful and beautiful online platform from which to create your website. I use Squarespace for my website, and it helps you to connect with your audience and generate revenue through gated members-only content, manage your members, send email communications, and leverage audience insights, all on one easy-to-use platform. And if you want, you can also extend Squarespace's already powerful e-commerce capabilities with Squarespace extensions. So if you're interested in checking out Squarespace, you can go to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/sustainablyvegan to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I will see you very soon. Bye.